Hi to all the Form 4 and Form 5 students. Today I would like to do revision on mathematics reasoning. So let's see. Math reasoning we have three forms. Forms 1. Premise 1, all A are B. Premise 2, C is A, and conclusion C is B. So later when you look at the example of the exercise, the A is the statement in blue color, and the B is the statement in red color, and C is the conclusion. And the conclusion we use purple color. So just observe the pattern of the color. Let's see number 1. Premise 1. All equilateral triangles have equal angles and equal sides. So the purple color is PQR, has equal angles and equal side. Now you replace the red color. Okay, both are equal, has equal angle and equal side with red color. So now we will actually cancel out the red color. So left PQR. Okay, we will copy down the PQR. Because PQR is the C, we will copy down the blue color, is an equilateral triangles. Okay, that is the pattern of the Form 1. So you just copy down the blue color to complete the premise 2. Okay, do you understand how to do? So please remember for Form 1, okay, the pattern is all A are B, C is A, C is B. Okay, let's look at number B. All product of the gradients of two perpendicular straight lines equal to -1. So the red color one is product of the gradient equal to -1. Alright, and then for premise 2, straight line PQ, we will use a purple color because that is our C. PQ and RS, we use purple color. R2 perpendicular lines will be blue color, meaning that those are same, we will use the blue color. Alright, so now we will write the conclusion using the purple color and the red color. Okay, we'll use the red color and the purple color for conclusion. So product of the gradient is the terms that you need to copy down. Product of the gradient of straight line PQ and RS are C. And continue with equal to -1. Okay, that is how you solve the conclusion. Okay, so now you have to observe the patterns of the Form 1. All A are B. Okay, so we have to follow the pattern equal to -1. And C is A and C is B. Okay, so let's have a look at premise 1 for case C. So we will highlight the blue for the cubes. We will ignore the all, alright? We don't copy the all for the conclusion. So for cubes, we will use a blue color. And then for the B, we will use a red color. For the A, we use a blue color. So all cubes has 6 similar faces. That means all A are B. And the solid A is the C. We use a purple color. Solid A is a cube. So C is A. Alright, C is A. Then okay, conclusion is C is B. Okay, so we will write solid A. Solid A has 6 similar faces. So that's how you form the conclusion by using the form 1. So conclusion for the question number 3, solid A is C, solid A is C, C is B. So solid A has 6 similar faces because B is in red color. So purple will match with red color. Okay, so we use a color so that we are aware the pattern of form 1. Alright, let's see the next one. You're asking to solve this question. So let's see how to identify our A. We use a blue color, and the B we use a red color. Okay, so acute angle is A, and then B is red color, or A are B. So the B we will highlight using red color, less than 90. And the purple color we will obtain from the conclusion. Okay, we will use a purple color for the C, for the statement C. So let's study the conclusion. So the purple color should be M. Okay, so M is A. A is blue color, so M is an acute angle. Okay, so we will pair up. C is A, so C is purple color and A is blue color. So let's form the premise 2. So for premise 2, we will copy the M in purple color, and then we will copy the blue one, because you look at the premise 2, purple is matched with the blue letter statement A. So the answer M is an acute angle. So that is the answer for premise 2. Alright, okay, can you see the pattern? M is an acute angle. Alright, let's see the last one. Before we go to form 2, we have type 2, right? Okay, for this one, okay, we have blue color. We highlight, after all is the statement A in blue color, and then followed by red color, and then the premise 2 is the purple color, -5. We'll use the -5 as we will highlight in purple color. Okay, that is our C, and then we will highlight the blue color, and then we will join the purple color with the red color to get the answer. So if you think you can't solve the math reasoning for form 1, you just observe the pattern by using different color, so that you can have a good idea how to go about argument in form 1. Okay, so I hope you will try to observe the pattern in terms of color. So now -5 is purple color, and we'll pair up with the statement B, which is in red color. Then you will solve the conclusion. Alright, so I think after you go through the example, you will have a very clear impression how to solve math reasoning. Alright, okay, so let's complete our conclusion for the last one before we go to next form of argument. We have form 2 and form 3, so I will explain in detail how to do math reasoning, because I understand that many students actually don't have interest for this topic, because it actually not much calculation, It's just a logic thinking. So, but it's actually part of the hot question because you need to think how to do. Okay, for argument in form 2, so please follow the pattern. For form 2, we have premise 1. If P, then Q. So we have if and then. Okay, compared to just now, we have or, but this one we got P and Q. If P, then Q. P is true, Q is true. So we will use a blue color for P and the red color for Q. And make sure you have if and then for premise 1. Form 2, we will use a blue color for P for premise 2, and we will use a red color for conclusion. So for premise 2 and premise 3, we have to follow the form 2, P is true, Q is true. So for this type of form 2 question is quite easy. So the premise 2 is always you copy the P statement and then P is true, and the conclusion you just copy the red color, which is Q is true. Okay, so you have to copy down the red color statement as Q is true, right? So for the premise 2 is always the blue color statement because that is the statement for P is true. So P is true, we use blue color for P, and then for Q we use a red color. So we'll copy down the red color as a conclusion. Okay, so let's see. Before you copy, you have to observe the pattern. They replace the M with 2. So for the red color one, there is an M, so you have to replace with the blue color 2. Okay, you cannot use just M, so you have to refer to premise 2. So 2 is the gradient of the straight line. Okay, you just copy the red statement for Q is true. Alright, that is how you solve form 2 argument. Okay, let's have a look of B. We always start with the if, and then the P we use blue color. If the radius of a circle is 8 cm, then the area of the circle is 64 pi centimeter square. So now you can use the highlighter. You highlight in blue for the P statement, and you highlight in red color for the Q statement so that you won't confuse. Okay, so then for premise 2, you will have to write P, which is blue statement. Okay, so we will copy the blue statement for premise 2, and the conclusion we will copy the red statement for the Q. Alright, so the answer for premise 2 in B is the blue statement there. Can you see? That is the P statement, okay, without the if. So the radius of a circle is 8 cm. So that is the right answer for premise 2. And then for C, we'll highlight the P statement using blue color pen, and then after that we will highlight the statement after that with the red pen. Then the conclusion is always the red pen, which is Q is true. Then we will just fill in for premise 2 using the blue statement. The sum of the 5 numbers is 30. For next question, they didn't give you premise 1, but they give you PQ is parallel to RS. So this is P statement. So you have to start with the if, and then you copy the P statement, which is in blue color given. PQ is parallel to RS. Okay, then you have to write the word then. So for premise 1, it is a must to start with if P then Q. Alright, so this is compulsory, and make sure the then is T-H-E-N. The spelling of the then must be perfect, T-H-E-N. So we'll copy the conclusion, which is the Q, which is in red color. So PQ does not intersect with RS. Okay, so when you do form 2, you have to recall the pattern of the form 2 if P then Q. P is true, Q is true. Alright, so make sure you follow the color, okay, so that you are not confused, and make sure you remember the pattern. It must always start with the if then. If P then Q, P is true, Q is true. Alright, for the form 3 arguments, we have the if P then Q still the same like form 2. Okay, form 2 and form 3 almost the same for premise 1. But for premise 2, not Q is true. Q comes first, not followed by not P is true. So you have to follow exactly the pattern of the form 3 argument. So premise 2 is not Q is true. Okay. Now let's go through the exercise for premise 1. If f(x) equal to mx squared plus 3 is a quadratic function where m is positive, then the graph of the quadratic function has a minimum value. So you take out your highlighter. You can take out blue highlighter and red highlighter. You highlight, okay, the sentence after if in blue color, and the sentence after then in red color. So, okay, so now let's discuss how to solve A, which is not easy for argument in form 3. Okay, so let's see how to do. So for premise 1, you have if f(x) equal to mx squared plus 3 is a quadratic function where m is positive, then the graph of the quadratic function has a minimum value. So you're asking to write down the premise 2, and they give you the conclusion f(x) equal to mx squared plus 3, okay, is a quadratic function where m is negative. Okay, now we want to highlight using different color. So for P, we'll use blue color. f(x) equal to mx squared plus 3 is a quadratic function where m is positive. Then the graph of the quadratic function has a minimum value is the Q statement. So after then, that we will highlight in red color. Okay, that is our Q statement. And please observe the conclusion for the statement f(x) equal to mx squared plus 3 is a quadratic function where m is negative. So that means the P, not P is true. Not P is true. Okay, negative compared to the one given, which is positive. So the conclusion not P is true. So now you have to write premise 2, which is not Q is true. So now we highlight our Q statement in red color. So the graph of the quadratic function has a minimum value. That is our Q statement. Okay, so now we need to negate the statement so that it becomes not Q is true. So please try to write down the answer on your own before I show you the answer, right? Okay, we need to negate the statement Q, not Q is true. Okay, so I give you few minutes to try to figure out the answer before I discuss further. Okay, so for this type of question, actually it needs you to think. Okay, now we'll copy down the Q. So the graph of the quadratic function we copy. Okay, but we need to negate the statement. We copy exactly, but we have to add a few words to negate the statement. So I copy the graph of quadratic function, and then I need to add few words. Okay, so normally the words you fill in supposed to have not, does not, okay, does not, has. Okay, because this is one graph, so does not, has. If more than one, we say have. Does not, has. Okay, we just copy a minimum value. So that means you negate the statement Q. Not Q is true. Alright, so the red color one you can copy, but you add the words does not, has. Okay, for the next one, if 3P equal to 3R, I highlight in blue color, then P equal to R. That is my Q statement. Then for premise 2, P not equal to R. So how are you going to write the conclusion? So you are given the not Q is true. So your answer is you just copy 3P and the equal, you make it not equal 3R. So it's very simple if you understand the flow of the logic. Okay, now you do not need to write if and then for premise 2 and the conclusion. Only for premise 1 you need to write if then. Okay, so again our answer 3P not equal to 3R. Okay, it's always P at the conclusion and Q at the premise 2. So 3P not equal to 3R. Alright, now for the next one, if the radius of a circle is 8 cm, okay, I highlight the statement in blue color after if, and I highlight the statement in red color after then. So the circumference of the circle is 16 pi centimeter. Okay, so now you look at the conclusion. The radius of the circle is not 8 centimeter. So what you're supposed to write for premise 2 is you copy the Q. The circumference of the circle is, you have to add the word not. Okay, you have the word, make sure you add the not. So the circumference of the circle is not 16 pi centimeter. So make sure you copy correctly, no spelling error, okay, no missing words, and you double check so that you have written down the not for premise 2. Okay, for premise 1, for the next one is such, if set M has 16 subsets, then the number of the element in the set M is 4. So we will make it a blue color for the statement after if, and the statement after then we use red color. And for premise 2, you need to start with the statement in red color, for that is the Q. Okay, but you need to negate. Okay, you need to negate the Q. So you have to add in the not. So the number of elements in the set M is not 4. Okay, it's not 4. And then you just copy down the blue statement. The set M does not has 16 subsets. Okay, that is how you work out the answer for argument form 3. So for form 3, you need to be very careful, and you need to follow the flow of the logic of the form 3. Okay, so that means before you go for exam, you have to go through the pattern of the argument for form 1, form 2 and form 3, so that you can do well in your final exam. Okay, for the next one I want to discuss is making conclusion. Let's see number 4, draw conclusion by deduction for the following. It is given that the interior angle of regular polygon with n side is given. The formula n minus 2 times 180 degree over n. Draw a conclusion by deduction for the interior angle of regular decagon. So first of all, you have to identify the keywords, which is decagon. So for decagon is how many sides? It's 10 sides, right? So you have to substitute. Okay, for this one it's quite easy. You just substitute into the formula and you just show the step how you get the answer. Alright, so now we are going to substitute, and most important is you must know that decagon n is equal to 10. Then only you can substitute into the formula. So the n is equal to 10, so substitute into the formula will be 10 minus 2 times 180 degree over 10, and you need to work out the final answer, which is equivalent to 144 degree. Okay, now this one is actually draw a conclusion by induction. Compared to just now is by deduction. This is induction. That means they give you many specific examples, and then you just follow the pattern. Now you just highlight the number that's in common, that is the same, which is negative 2. Okay, that means the negative 2 is repeating many times, and the plus also repeating. Those remain unchanged we will highlight, because later when we do conclusion, we will recycle back the number or the symbol that is not changed. So please follow the way I do. So I highlight all the number that are not changed and all the symbol that are not changed. For A, 2 not changed and plus 3 not changed. For B, I observe and I notice that 2 is there and then minus 7 is there. So 2 you have to copy down later, and negative 7 you have to copy down later, right? So for C, okay, let's see C. For C, we observe, okay, the small power 2, index 2 is there, the rest all keep on changing. So we will just highlight the one remain unchanged. And for D, the 1 and plus is there, okay, and 3 also there, so we highlight like this. So we want the number that remain unchanged, so that we can copy the pattern after this. And for the last one, you observe the one that remain unchanged, you highlight. Okay, for D, we also observe the power 2 remain unchanged. Okay, we'll highlight like this. So that means every terms are having the same elements that remain unchanged. And for E, you highlight, you notice that there are 2, okay, 2 remain unchanged, and plus also remain unchanged. And the power, is the power remain unchanged? Okay, yes, if the power plus 2 to the power of 2 and also minus remain unchanged. So we'll copy down those remain unchanged because the pattern is fixed, okay, when we make the conclusion. So now we can figure out how to substitute the unknown n to form the conclusion. Okay, so let's see how to go about for question by question. We will discuss every question. The pattern can be drawn using induction by observing the number that remain unchanged. So for A, we have negative 2 and plus 3 remain unchanged. For B, we have 2 and minus 7 remain unchanged. And for C, we have the power 2 remain unchanged. Alright, so for D also we have 1 plus 3 and power 2 remain unchanged. and then for E we have 2 and 2 plus 2 power 2 minus remain unchanged. So now we want to work out the conclusion. Alright, so the 2, the minus 2, and then the plus 3 must be there for A, and for B the 2 and minus 7 must be there. Okay, so you follow the pattern and you try to think carefully how to work out the end for each of the conclusion. Okay, I'll let you try first so that we can observe the answer later. So you try your best to get the answer before you compare with the answer given by me after this. Alright? So you notice that I actually write down those remain unchanged down there. So we have minus 2 plus 3 for A. We have 2 and minus 7 for B. And then for E I have the small power 2. And then for D I have 1 plus 3. And then the power 2. And then for the E I have the 2. Okay, I have plus 2 to the power of the small 2 and minus. Okay, so after you write down all the one remain unchanged, then you can try to substitute with the n so that you can see the conclusion. So I think for A is quite easy. The n is actually number of terms that keep on changing. Okay, if the first term n is 1, second term n is 2, then third term n is equal to 3, and fourth term n equal to 4, and fifth term n equal to 5 in sequence. So you just substitute negative 2n plus 3 for number A. Alright? So now I'm going to show you the answer using the blue pen. Okay, so negative 2n plus 3n minus 1 for A. Okay, why n minus 1? Because you see after 3 is 0. So if n is 1, the how to get 0 is 1 minus 1. So then, okay, you have to complete, okay, all the conclusion by another sentence where n is start from 1, 2, 3. Okay, it depends, so you have to study the pattern. So for B, we have 2 power n minus 7 because the n is changing. So we substitute with the n, and n is 1, start from 1, 2, 3, and then dot, dot, dot. And then for C, we have more challenging, is n plus 1. Okay, because you get 2, so it's 1 plus 1. So 2 for the first term, so 1 plus 1 is 2. And the n square, because once you see 1, 2, 3, 4, you can use the n. And the n is start from 1, 2, 3, and dot, dot, dot. And same thing apply for D, is 1 plus 3. Okay, and then n to the power of 2, and so on and so forth. For the E, you can observe the pattern is there. So make sure you have 3 dots after the comma so that they won't minus your mark. Okay, that's all my sharing for today. I hope I do help you to do revision for this challenging topic that not many students like it. Okay, bye. Have a nice day.